Well, we were really excited when we moved him outside. He was just a more natural football player as an outside linebacker than he was as an inside linebacker. As he developed there, we started schooling him at both positions, the razor and the hog. He does a nice job of physically playing on the tight end. So we started giving him more reps at the hog spot, and Randy's a little bit better athletically in the open field, and he's just continued to emerge as the leader at that position, and excited about the kind of year that he can have.
Red said he may have paid a price for his versatility, about being moved around so much that he never really got great at one spot.
Yeah, I think there's accuracy to that. He sort of filled some gaps for us last year because of that, and going into this year, we knew he could do that again if we had depth concerns at inside linebacker. Not knowing his full history, and he's never redshirted, so he played right away coming in, and how good he could have been had he just stuck at one spot. But this new defense has given him a great opportunity, and he's taken advantage of it.
You mentioned in the past that you want certain bodies in different spots, and I guess you talked about putting football players in position for now until you do recruiting. Is that kind of a situation you're with?
I think, I think that's accurate. When we moved Jamario Bell there, he's an ideal body type for that position. I saw on paper the other day he's 268 pounds, but he's a big, rangy, athletic guy that can play in space and cover a wheel route if he has to. Where Dwayne is just such a heady football player on the edge and has the physical tenacity to line up on a tight end. Maybe not the prototypical size to do that, but he has the tenacity to do it, and he's playing it well, and fits what we need right now at the spot.
What kind of camps have your top three safeties had, and do you feel better that you might, in the big games, get more safeties on the field?
Yeah, we're really excited about our rotation overall. At all 11 spots, and I don't know if there's a position where we won't roll guys in as the game goes along. I've always been a big believer in playing 22 if you got them, if not more. And it should be and will be more for us because of the number of defensive linemen that are going to play. I think it does a couple of things. I think it keeps your morale up. You got all those guys taking practice snaps, and then if you're playing a one deep and you start to lose those guys a little bit, I also think it keeps you fresh and fast as the game goes along. And we didn't have that luxury in the secondary a year ago, in my opinion, to be able to roll guys. So to be able to do it both corner and safety, Josh Liddell has been the one that has worked both spots throughout camp, strong safety and free safety. He'll get the starting nod at free safety as long as he continues to do what he's done the rest of our preparation leading up to Thursday. Dre will primarily anchor at the free, and Santos will primarily anchor at the strong. And then Reed can play both, and Kevin Richardson could play the free safety spot, although he'll get the bulk of his work at nickel.
Well, do you have a feel if you can play base more, or do you think it's going to be like all across football, nickel's the dominant scheme?
Well, we'll play more base than we did a year ago, but offensive personnel will still dictate a little bit how much nickel is out there. We're going to see, we believe, a great deal of what we call 10 personnel, 4 wide receivers and just 1 running back. And if that's the case, then we'll play a host of nickel. We will play more base against one-back teams that involve a tight end or 2 tight ends than we did a year ago. And I think Randy and the guys we put out there can handle that matchup.
Is that, I guess that's part of it with Randy and Dwayne both having kind of a safety background and I guess being versatile. Is that one reason you think you'd have them out there?
Yeah, and They can play in space. They can handle their own there, and they can run with guys. What we're doing, we're not asking them to line up out there and play man-to-man coverage and shut down every team's top receiver. The things that we're asking them to do in space, we believe they can handle.
You're going to be on the sideline. Why do you prefer that as a coordinator as opposed to being in the room?
Well, that's easy. 6 days a week, they're hearing my voice and seeing my eyes, and I'm seeing theirs and getting coached. I think it's wrong to change that on game day. When it comes to the ebbs and flows, I think you have a better handle of them if you're down there on the sideline with your kids and be able to make immediate adjustments. I'm a believer that you can do that from the sideline in the middle of a series. The way it is with no huddle offenses, you have your kids' eyes anyway, and I think you can immediately communicate and get things changed and checked and adjusted right in the middle of a series. I also don't believe you change how you coach on game day. Some people believe you really back off and treat them differently, and I never grasped the meaning behind that. So we'll get after them just like we do every day of the week.
Brett said you have a way of getting on guys without being demeaning, was the word that you used. Is that something you had to learn, or have you always been that way?
No, I think I've always been that way, and I'd probably credit my father with that. I've stated this before that I get more passion from my dad than I do X's and O's. My dad was a Hall of Fame high school coach in the state of Iowa, and so I grew up, watching him coach, and he was that way, and he was loud, but there was always as much complimentary words being spoken as there was critique being done. And I think as long as the kids know that you're fair and just in that process, they figure that out quite quickly, that you're just coaching them hard.
Feel comfortable playing Callaway and Curl?
Yeah, we do, and they've earned their spots on the depth chart, and it was a process to get there. I mean, we tested the whole group and got through the first scrimmage and had a little bit better idea, and got through the second scrimmage and felt real solid where we were at with those guys. And all of them can play both sides, but certainly the three that we got an eye on for getting on the field, Cam and Chevin and Brito, most definitely could play either side.
Should we always stay on the sideline as a coordinator?
Yes. Walt Harris wanted to put me up at one point, and I shared that same philosophy I just shared with you with him, and he really couldn't argue that in the end. And some guys see better from the booth and feel better about making their adjustments from there. I'd rather be down seeing it from there and communicating with the kids.
Last year when you were upstairs, what was that like, and when was the last time you hadn't been on the sideline?
Cagey is what it was like. When your responsibilities involve what they did, it was fine. And you do see the game differently up there, and you certainly have more poise when you're up there. But communicating through the telephone isn't always easy to get your point across when you're trying to make an adjustment. And that's how you have to do it with your position group when you're up there. But Rob, for the same reasons I said, wanted to be down there and needed eyes up top.
And when was the last time you've been on the sidelines before last year? Do you remember?
In the booth?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. 1999. 1999.
There's quarterback Stanley, started the last half of last year. What do you see from him and kind of the whole offense?
He's a winner. I mean, all four of their games that they won, he led them to victory. He was 4-3 as a starter. He's a very gifted athlete and dangerous with both his feet and his arm. Got great velocity, throws an accurate ball, but quarterback run game as well as quarterback scramble, he strikes fear in you in what he does. They've got a gifted football team in their skill at wide receiver and in the backfield, and they got 3 preseason awards candidates on the offensive line, guys that are returning for them. So we know we'll be in a challenge with this offense.
You're in a nickel, and Kevin Richardson's spent, and he needs some time out. What do? You move Josh Liddell?
Josh Liddell would be our backup nickel, and then Coley would go at free safety. That would be the immediate adjustment.
How anxious are you to see, there's actually been a lot of talk about the 3-4 for a while. How anxious are you to see how that works out in the game? I know you're not playing Alabama yet, but and kind of how do you feel about where you guys are with that?
Feel very good, but you don't know until you line up and start facing other people. So we're really excited to finally play a game. I think I counted 40-some practices. It's been the other day that we've just been practicing this defense without actually playing a game, and we're anxious to put it on tape and see how we stack up.
Foley and Tolliver had really good seasons last year with the fall camp. What do you expect out of the two of them?
Well, leadership to begin with, and it's one of the things that we set the expectations high for the whole room, the secondary room, when we started, because there's veteran, experienced players in there that should provide great leadership for our football team, and those are 2 of them. Anxious to see Andre play at corner. He played very solidly for us as a nickelback last year, but that's not really his true position. Corner is the spot he needs to be, and excited to have him back out there. I think they're both capable of being playmakers, and we want to see them do exactly that.
You obviously run the defense. The other day we were talking here to Tyler, I think called you the dictator of defense. Do you like that term? Do you guys ever use that around you?
Well, I don't necessarily like the term, but I think I understood his point, because I actually did see that in print. The defensive staff is a very talented group, and they do a great job of coaching their positions, and we all put it together. I think just when it's your voice is the primary voice, probably lends itself to that term.
How's nose been? Can you play 3?
We believe we can, and are excited about the addition of Dylan Hayes and what he's brought the group. Defensively, the 3-4, it starts from the ball out with that nose guard position. And I said one of the reasons why we switched is because you're defending offenses from the outside in with all the spread. But if you can't control that center and do the things that the nose guard has to do, and do it with fresh bodies, and then you're in potentially for a long day. And we think all 3 of the guys are giving us what we need out of that position.